Latest post on Troika, Donald Trump has said, looks like we have lost India. That's what he has said. His comments come day after the SCO meet, the crucial SCO meet that happened in Tianjin in China, in which Prime Minister Modi, those visuals there of the SCO summit, that critical SCO summit in which Prime Minister Modi also met Xi Jinping and Russian President Vladimir Putin. And now Donald Trump has said, and I quote, looks like we've lost India. We've lost India and Russia to China. This is his latest social media post coming on the Troika. And this is just days after Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi met with Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping. Now Donald Trump reacting to this in the midst of his threats of tariffs and also the midst of all the tariff war that's going on in this world. And in the midst of a changing world order that's standing up to resist the Trump tariffs. My colleague Aditya Rajkal joins us with more details on this. Aditya, there was a sense of toning down of the position of Trump in the last few days, especially after the SCO summit, which you covered so significantly. Tell us, what do we read into the latest post of Donald Trump when he says, looks like we've lost India?
Well, Vasudha, certainly a big development coming at this hour with President Donald Trump not mincing any words, putting a very straight out Truth Social post where he says, and I quote, looks like we have lost India and Russia to deepest, darkest China. May they have a long and prosperous future together, President Donald J. Trump. That's the statement coming in. He's also posted an old picture of Putin, Xi Jinping and Modi together. This, in all likelihood, seems to be a picture from 2018, from one of the multilateral summits where the three leaders had met. So clearly, a big development coming at this hour. Trump putting out a position very clearly that India and Russia have been lost to darkest China. Attacking all three countries. This comes at a time when a very successful SCO summit has just concluded, where we saw Modi, Putin and Xi Jinping in a huddle, laughing and smiling. A very direct message to Washington, D.C. as well, that your bullying is not going to work. We are three powerful leaders of three powerful countries with great population, great resolve and resilience. In all likelihood, it does seem that backdoor dialogue between these countries has sort of broke down, even though India-US trade negotiations continue even at this stage. But this comes at a backdrop of massive tariffs that have been launched by Trump administration. In fact, just a few hours ago, he also said on the semiconductors that are not investing on US soil, there will be massive tariffs. Yet again, in August as well, he had said 100% tariffs for semiconductors. So clearly, there's no headway on the Russia-Ukraine crisis. On China, certainly there isn't much that America has been able to achieve, with a huge question mark on the Quad summit that India was likely to host. And now this particular social media post, all is not well between Trump and these three countries.
What are your sources in the MEA talking about the negotiations on the BTA that are still going on between India and US? Clearly, India has also not really given up on the United States of America. This is too important a relationship to be taken so lightly. But yes, India has sent out a strong message of autonomy, especially with the Prime Minister's presence at the SCO, along with Xi Jinping and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Where are we with regard to negotiations with the United States of America?
Well, Vasita, India is continuing with its strategic silence at this stage. There's been a lot of provocation that's been coming in from Washington, D.C. We have seen multiple interviews and provocative posts from Peter Navarro, the trade advisor of Trump. Apart from that, several other leaders from the Trump administration in his cabinet itself making provocative remarks against India, against the Indian Prime Minister and the Indian people as a whole. But India is strategically keeping silent. They do not want to engage in such a manner that there are ramifications or the trade talks or the strategic bilateral global transformative relationship that we have had with US for not now but decades together. But negotiations continue at this stage, Vasudha, and perhaps in the next few weeks there could be perhaps some consensus or headway. Ball is entirely in Trump's court as of now.
Right. Also, Aditya, is it because India did not really take to the kind of bullying, surrender to the kind of bullying that the United States of America did with respect to India's relationship with Russia? We did not really stop buying that crude oil from Russia, or we did not even issue a statement saying that we would be doing anything with that regard. Is there a certain sense that Donald Trump is reacting like this because India refused to really surrender to that kind of attitude?
Well, America wants the world to believe, Vasudha, that it is because of the Russian oil. But there are far bigger reasons for Donald Trump because, India did not give any kind of credit to Trump for the so-called ceasefire that was achieved between Islamabad and New Delhi after Operation Sindoor. India did not recommend Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. And then, of course, we are continuing with our very independent strategic autonomy where, we are buying Russian oil. We have a very robust relationship with Russia and we are continuing with trade. That is something that DC does not want at this particular stage because they want enough pressure to be put on Moscow to come on the dialogue table for a peace agreement. So as of now, India and America relationship is under a huge question mark, even as backdoor diplomacy does continue, trade negotiations continue, but Trump is not going to take these things lightly. There have been reports in the American media also, Vasudha, that some of the advisors of Trump, including Marco Rubio, have gone to Trump with a plan, but he has rejected it at this particular stage and only asking Peter Navarro to continue to make provocative remarks against New Delhi, which will certainly not go well with New Delhi. But apart from that, India wants diplomacy and dialogue to continue for a larger consensus for the benefit of the people of both US and India, and not tariffs that can continue when you call each other strategic allies.
Yeah, also let's go through what Trump has said today. He says, and I quote, "Looks like we've lost India and Russia to deepest, darkest China. May they have a long and prosperous future together." There's clearly a tone of sarcasm in there. How do you read this? And also, what can we expect in the coming days?
Attack on the Troika. All three countries are being attacked. This is also a push further to Moscow, to Beijing and to New Delhi to come together. As I said, there might have been some differences that India, China and Russia may have had. But with Trump tariffs and with Trump's approach against these three countries, it's almost now inevitable that the Troika of the RIC will become a reality. Many have been speculating when that exact meeting could take place. Could RIC grouping really become a reality? And perhaps in the next few days or weeks, this could possibly be true. He also says darkest, China. He has been speaking to Xi Jinping in the past. In fact, we know that in his first term, he even spoke to the North Korean leader. And now when the North Korean leader is making a beeline in Beijing, attending the Victory Day parade with Xi Jinping, with Putin, he suddenly has a problem. So there's been a lot of hypocrisy and duplicity in the American way of thinking and policy shift as well. But as of now, a very, very sarcastic, a very direct, pointed tweet coming in from Donald Trump on Truth Social, where he's attacking India, Russia and China and saying that India and Russia have been lost to, deepest and darkest China, attacking all three capitals, all three leaders, and continuing with the barrage of attacks that have really shifted the international order completely.
Right, Aditya, do stay with us. We also have shift.